Okay, so thank you so much to coming at this session. The title is Empowering the Future of Collaboration, thanks to SharePoint and Copilot. So just few words about us. Marco.
Nice to meet all of you. My name is Marco Rocca, and I'm a cloud solution architect in modern workplace domain in Microsoft Italy. I work with SharePoint mainly and all other collaboration platform in Microsoft 365. In this slide, you can find and see my email and my social link. Feel free to contact me for every question.
And my name is Fabio Franzini. I'm Microsoft MVP in two categories, business applications and Microsoft 365 development. I'm also the CEO of the Apvee Solutions. It's a small company based in Italy that basically creates solution on top of Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. You can reach me by using LinkedIn, by email, or by the x.com account. So the agenda of this session of today, we cover three main topics. The first topic is the communication evolution inside Microsoft 365 and, of course, SharePoint Online. Then we talk about the integration with Copilot and Copilot Studio inside the SharePoint Online. And then the last topic is the evolution of the governance in SharePoint Online. And if we have times at the end, we have the Q&A time. Okay, so we can start with the SharePoint Online communication evolution. Regarding this, we need to talk about Viva Amplify. So Viva Amplify, it's a service that it's part of the Viva family. And basically, it's a service that provides the possibility for the user to centralize the view, the creation, the management, and the publishing of simple communication or campaigns. So more than one communication in a specific campaign across different channels. This is very interesting tool. With this tool, we are able to reduce the clutter. We can write message faster. We can save time on publishing. We can manage better the reviewers and the approvers. And of course, we can manage more campaigns in the same tool in the same time. So we want to show a demo of Viva Amplify, and to do that, we already create some slides to show you the Viva Amplify service. So Viva Amplify, it's available by using Microsoft Teams application or by navigating on a specific URL inside every site in SharePoint Online. So basically, you have a hub that you can find a lot of information regarding the campaigns that it's published or when you work on, the information regarding the highlights, the resources linked with the campaigns, and so on. You are able, of course, to start to create a new campaign or navigate to an already created campaign. If you choose to create a new campaign, you have the possibility to write, of course, the name, the description, the topic, and select the thumbnail color that you want to use inside this campaign. The most interesting part of this is that every campaign that you create basically are created on a specific team site inside SharePoint Online. This is very interesting because you isolate every campaigns in a specific team site with a specific permissions and so on. So I think that it's very interesting. Then you have put the name, the description, the campaign, the color. You have the possibility to click on next, and then you can set the members of this campaign. That basically it's the members of the team site that we have behind the scenes. You can put the different kind of information like, the owner of the campaign, the members, the collaborators, the approver of the news that you want to publish inside this campaign, and for example, the visitors that you want to add to show the information, the news that you create inside this campaign with some specific user. Then you can create a new campaign, and this is the tab that show you the homepage of a specific campaign, of course. Now you are able to do different settings. For example, you can move on the settings. You can create a new communication that basically it's a news in SharePoint, or based on the channel that you want to use to share. Could be an email, or a message in Teams, or a message inside Viva Engage. You can change some settings. For example, you can change the campaign brief, and you can write, for example, the objectives of the campaign. Basically, it's just at this moment the text that you want to put to have the objective of the campaign that you want to communicate for each communication that you create inside. You can manage different objectives. You can manage, for example, the distribution channel that you want to use, and the audience for each distribution channel that you want to use. At this moment, we have the possibility to use the Outlook, SharePoint, Teams, and Yammer. I don't know, Marco, if it's already available. So Yammer, Viva Engage, I don't know it's available at this moment, or is it still in, so all will be available. It's already available. Okay, great. Okay, now that you define the campaign brief, you are able to create a new communication. And basically, when you start to create a new communication, you have this kind of UI. And basically, it's something like very close to the experience that you have when you create a new page or a new news inside SharePoint. Basically, you can define the title, you can define the section, and you can define the web part that you want to use to create the communication. Of course, we don't have all the web parts available in SharePoint, because this communication will be cross-channel, and not all the web parts could be converted in something that will be available on an email or on a Teams message, for example. But you can define, you can add, for example, image web part, text web part, and so on. You can see that on the right you have the writing guidance that contain the objective, the reference documents that you can define on the creation of the campaign. You can define some documents to remember to the user that creates the communication. What is, for example, the branding guideline, the specific country guidelines, and so on. This is a short video. You can put the title, you can define images, you can define the text, and for each channel that you selected, you are able to overwrite the content. So you can arrange in a different way for Outlook, for SharePoint, for Viva Engage, and so on. Another thing is that when you publish the communication, it's possible that you want to it's possible that you want to save in draft, for example, and not publish directly, or for example, you want to start an approval request because you want to approve the settings for this campaign. Is all communication will need approved to be published in SharePoint, in Outlook, in Yammer, and so on. So basically, you are able to define the approval request by defining the approvers, the message, and so on. And then you can specify the different kind of publishing option when, for example, the approvers approve this communication. For example, publish directly, or review before publishing, or we are able to schedule the publish when the, of course, the communication it's approved. This is another view. This view is for this communication. Basically, the publication status is in pending because we wait for the approval. And then this is another view that show how to start the approval process in a different way. So when you create a communication, of course, all the communication it's inside your campaign, and you are able to view all the communication. And for each communication, like this one, you can start the request approval by specified approvers, the message, and then click on send. In this part, you're able to see that the message could be visualized inside Teams for the approvals, or when the communication is approved, the message will be spread across all the channel that you define in your settings, like again, Outlook, SharePoint, Viva Engage, and so on. Sorry. Now the status of the communication is published, and you are able to see by click on see published location, every location that you use it to spread this communication. For example, SharePoint, Outlook, and Yammer, and you are able to click and then navigate to the message inside SharePoint, inside Outlook, or inside Yammer. This is the again the home page of a specific campaign, and the last part is the possibility. This is very cool. The possibility to view the report of usage of viewers of your communication. This is very interesting because you are able to view how many people read your communication by Outlook, by SharePoint, by Viva Engage, by Teams, and how many comments you have, how many positive or negative comments you have, or neutral, or define the group by location, and so on. This is very interesting because you can manage and you can analyze every communication channel, and you can, for example, in the next communication, you are able to put more attention with one specific channel instead of another one, for example. Okay, I think that yeah, for Viva Amplify is all. Now I want to show the next part. It's the new experience that we have inside Viva Connections, and of course the news notification. Of course, you know that the Viva Connection, it's another service inside the Viva family, and the new version of Viva Connection, it's completely redesigned because the first version was based just to show on a specific home site inside your tenant, and basically on a home site, it's on a SharePoint site, on a page, on the home page of a specific SharePoint home site that you can put different web parts, and you can manage. So basically your intranet. The new version of the Viva Connection, it's more like a tool, a dashboard tool, and not just a visualization inside the Teams of a specific SharePoint home site. This is interesting because there are more focused features in Viva Connection. For example, we have a new cool feature named announcement. You can define as admin the announcement that you can publish directly inside Viva Connection, and you can see a banner is on top of the Viva Connection page that show the important announcement that you want to spread across different kind of audience. Then we have the dashboard that you can develop by using adaptive cards, basically, ACES web parts. We have the feed that contains all the information regarding communication inside the tenant, and then we have some resources, the Viva Suite footer and the navigation element that you can add inside the Viva connection application. So regarding this, I want to show you just a simple demo, regarding Viva connection. Yeah, and basically I want to show you the new announcement part. This is the Viva connection inside my my tenant. We are able, because I have the privileges to do the manage announcement, and of course we have the possibility to define the announcement that we want to spread across a specific audience. For example, I'm able to create a new audience by writing the title, demo announcement. I'm able to put some message here, and then I put some whole company members. I'm able to schedule on a specific in a specific daytime, or I'm able to save a draft, or I'm able to create and publish directly. This is the recap of the announcement, and I'm able now to send the announcement. So now I'm able to view the list, in this case, just one, the announcement that we have inside Viva connection. And then if I go back, I'm able to see the title, the text. We are able to put some different kind of information. And if we have more than one announcement, we are able to navigate between announcement or click to view all the announcements that we have inside the tenant. Okay. Marco, I think that it's your time now.
Okay, thanks Fabio. I share my screen and I share my presentation. Okay, now we go deeper on SharePoint feature, because we have a lot of feature inside SharePoint for improve the collaboration and the communication about all news that you have. The first feature is a template news for Outlook. Now, when you create a lot of news page in SharePoint, it's possible just using a few clicks create a modern newsletter for your organization. Then you can create one mail, and you can distribute this mail that contains one or more news that you have already created inside your SharePoint. In this case, it's possible then create, for example, different newsletter based on your specific content without create, for example, custom code. It's not necessary. You just only to create a classic news page in SharePoint. As Fabio mentioned before, obviously in this case it's not possible to use all web part for create this news, because you have also to put them in Outlook, inside the Outlook, a short preview. The second big news is regarding the co-authoring for the page in SharePoint. Then it's possible to collaborate directly inside each page for different colleagues to improve and collaborate for the content. It's possible, for example, modify the same web part, or modify different web part in the same page. You can see in lifetime, okay, there what your colleague make in this page is a fantastic features. But it's a demo time, and we start, for example, using a site that is in private preview. Then it's a classic team site, as you see. Then I start to edit this page. Okay, what you see that now my colleague, thanks Matteo for collaboration. Matteo is my colleague that joined this session for real-time demo, and Matteo complete the web part. You see what is changed in this page. You can see, okay, Matteo insert one comment, but I can. If I wait a few seconds, then I can start to add my part. This is my part. And Matteo see in real time my change. It's a fantastic new feature. Then when I finish it, I can save and close the page as always. Then this is the co-authoring feature in SharePoint page. Regarding the newsletter, what is possible to do? For example, I have this classic SharePoint site where I created a lot of news. Okay, it's a typical SharePoint page using news template. Then, if I click on See All, now you can find this button, Email a News Digest. I can click here. Then I can start to select, for example, in my newsletter, I want to add the sample newsletter, visual post, and sample for test news. I click on Next. Okay. For example, this is February newsletter. And I need to select the final destination of my newsletter. For example, in this case, I select only my user. This is a newsletter. Okay, I can remove, for example, one page from this mail, and then I send my newsletter. In few seconds, I receive in Outlook. Okay, just a second, but I prepare the mail based on the old test, and this is the final results. I can see the preview, then I can click on each part of my newsletter or go to the site to see all news that I have in my SharePoint site. Well, I return to my presentation, but now it's time to introduce Copilot in SharePoint. I think that all of you in this last month you see what is Copilot, okay, and all feature. Now it's time to introduce also Copilot in SharePoint to create and new content, okay, using a generative AI, and also to manage, for example, the existing content. In the near future, using Copilot, you can create, for example, a specific page based, for example, on a Word document. Then Copilot create the news page for you based, for example, on existing content. But not only, you can also change the test generated by Copilot, using, for example, different tone, improve or reduce the length, etc. But not only with the Copilot will be possible, for example, create a lot of query in a natural language based on the content in a single document library, or create new content based from a list of existing document. And the last feature released and announced this week is the autofill columns. Then, using autofill column, will be possible evaluate a classic SharePoint column automatically. You don't need to use, for example, Microsoft syntax model or other iBuilder Power Automate, for example, but you can create, using natural language, a definition for the new column that you have. You upload the document, and SharePoint extract the content from a single document and put the value in the new column. Okay, we try to show you this. For example, Copilot in SharePoint. This is a SharePoint page. I can edit this page. Then I select this, and you see the new Copilot icon for the text web part. Then I can ask to Copilot, for example, to elaborate this content, because in my opinion is too short. I can click on elaborate. Copilot propose me one possible text, and then I can, for example, ask to Copilot to replace the content. But now, in my opinion, this is too enthusiastic. For this page, I would like to have a content more formal. Then I can ask to Copilot to change the tone of this my post. This feature will be available also, for example, in Viva Amplify, to create the content for campaign, or you can use the same feature to create content for your newsletter. Okay, I can read the final results, and okay, indeed for me it's okay. And Copilot replace for me the content another time, and then I can save and close. This is for the moment in this site I have only this feature, but as you see before in the video, you can start to create new content from scratch. For example, help me to create a page for the new company event. Will be possible create a specific page in using a natural language. Okay, the second feature is the autofill column. Okay, this is a typical SharePoint document library in this that contain, for example, this type of document, aviation incident report. It's a docx that contain details about incident report. For example, the flight number, ICAO code, the description, etc. Thanks SharePoint to help me and show the content. Okay, perfect. This is the document. You see the model of the airplane, the flight number, ICAO code, incident date, and obviously the description. Now I would like to add in this document library, for example, a new column. For example, it's a test column. You see now the autofill option. I select sample flight code. Okay, setup. Please identify the ICAO code from document. Okay, it's a prompt. It's a classic prompt that you use in Copilot, in ChatGPT, etc. Then I can, for example, select one document to test my prompt. I can select test, and Copilot, using a specific feature in SharePoint in syntax, extract for me this content, and this is the final results. B772 is the ICAO code. Then I can apply this method, this prompt, to all existing and new file, or only for the new file. In this case, I already use, for example, flight number. I can, for example, modify the prompt, okay, and change the option. Is another fantastic feature. I need only, for example, to reuse the classify and extract option to increase and reduce the time that I need to wait to have my final results for each document. Very, very cool. Okay, Fabio, you can take the control for the part of Copilot.
Just a second. Let me share my screen. Come on. Okay. So now we talk about Copilot Studio and SharePoint. So you know that Copilot Studio is the new name of the Power Virtual Agent, but it's not just the new name, but because it's the basically it's the Power Virtual Agent, but it's more focused on generative AI and generative response based on the input of the user, of course. This is very interesting because you can create your own Copilot, and of course we have the integration with SharePoint. For example, we can index one or more SharePoint site as a source of the possible responses that the Copilot, the bot, want to respond to the user input. So basically, we can put one or more SharePoint site, and the content of the SharePoint site, like pages, like Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, or PDF file, will be used to respond as a source to be processed by the GPT, and then use it to generate the response to serve to the user. Of course, the Copilot would only generate answer from the information that is for the user that are CDN. Of course, all it's behind the Enter ID authentication, of course. And there are some limitations at this moment. The file size is just 3 megabytes, and it's not supported the single sign-on inside the SharePoint Online natively. But we can skip this little problem, because of course, you know that with the Copilot Studio, you can generate a Copilot and a bot, and then publish directly inside Teams. But sometimes it's cool to have the Copilot inside directly, your own Copilot inside directly on a SharePoint site. So to do that and to manage the automatically single sign-on, there are a repository present in GitHub, the Copilot Studio samples, that contain a SharePoint framework solution to integrate the Copilot generated by the Copilot Studio inside a SharePoint site that you want to integrate. This is very, I think that this is very, very powerful. So it's the time of the Copilot Studio demo, Marco.
Okay, I can retake the control. Thanks, Fabio. Well, now I prepare two different Copilot Studio. For example, the first Copilot that I have is a classic, is a demo, classic Copilot. Now today all are Copilot, but this is the PVA feature. In this case, I enable, for example, the generative AI option. You need to switch this toggle, boost conversational coverage with the generative answer. What's mean this? For example, in topics and plugin, you can create your custom topic. I open this SharePoint Copilot, and now you can use, for example, this specific action, create a generative answer. Then it's a classic question in natural language, then no query, no static option in PVA, is a generic query, but based, for example, in this data source. Then in generative answer action, you can select 4 public website. For example, your blog, you can now create a chatbot for your specific blog or your public intranet. Today, you can put the URL here, then for specific website. In the same way, you can specify, for example, 4 different SharePoint sites. In this case, I select my syntax project sites, okay, and then nothing else is necessary. You can also improve your chatbot, for example, using Azure OpenAI model directly in your tenant. But now it's possible, for example, to create a custom query for your specific content. SharePoint is the trigger phrase from my chatbot, okay? And then, for example, I would like to give me all information about the incident code, the incident with the ECAO code B772. Then the chatbot reply for me and identify the document and create for me a summary for this specific document. Then today, what is possible to do? For example, create a specific query for documents that live, for example, in a specific document library. But this case is not good only, for example, for a Word document in one document library. For example, in this case, my site contains aviation incident report, but also a purchase order. Then a completely different information in this case is a classic purchase order. Then I can return to my topic. I trigger my chatbot, and in this case I select this content, give me information. Sorry, I lose the correct screen. Okay, then I can create a query for one purchase order. Then all site is indexed, then documents, SPX page, etc. in the same way. And this is the response based on this specific content. Obviously, if you need more details about your query, the best way is to use, for example, a specific Azure OpenAI model, but it's not necessary today. You have this feature completely out of the box to create a specific chatbot for specific SharePoint content. But not only. You have another option using generative AI, not to index all sites, but for example, you want to create a chatbot for a specific set of documents. For example, the meeting notes about meeting that you have monthly for sales department, etc. You can upload the content directly in your chatbot using this feature. Is called upload a document, and now you can put all questions. And another best feature is that is not necessary to create a specific topic, because you use a generative artificial intelligence based on this content. Then you can start directly, for example, to put the same query that I used before in this case. Then the content is not based on a particular SharePoint site, but is based in this set of content. Okay, I see the response, but now if I use this prompt, I receive a wrong response because it's not a content that is indexed by this chatbot. I'm so sorry. Very, very cool, because all these features are out of the box, are already ready to use. You don't need to do something for example, custom code, connector, nothing. You can consume your SharePoint content directly in Copilot, or the old name Power Virtual Agents. Okay, now we can change the section, because the big news are not only for collaboration, but are also to manage your SharePoint content, because you have a new challenge in your customer. For example, when you introduce Copilot that enable you to create more easily different type of query, a generic query, then you can easily identify, for example, a different issue from your customer. For example, the oversharing, lifecycle management of the content. For example, you can find in your customer a team site that is never used since 3 years ago. Okay, it's a classic situation. Now, using SharePoint Advanced Management based on SharePoint Premium, you have access to a different feature that enable you to manage SharePoint easily. You have a long list from this feature. We don't have a lot of time for deep dive in each feature, but I would like to mention 3 different features. The first is restricted access control. Now, what is possible to do using just a few clicks is possible to reduce the permission for a specific site to to only specific group. For example, I start this video. For example, you see there the membership. You have a lot of visitors, but now using restricted access control, you specify a single group that have access to a specific content. In this case, it's very useful to manage, for example, oversharing in your SharePoint site, because, for example, you need to fix a lot of permission in this site, then you need to reduce the access to only one group. The second feature is this PowerShell command. For the moment, you don't have for the moment UI settings, is to block download the policy for SharePoint and OneDrive. Then using only one command, it's possible to block the download from your SharePoint site. Now you see a user that are allowed to download the document in a classic way using the classic UI, and because is a site member, this feature is valid both for internal and external user. I can execute this PowerShell command, exclude block download policies, exclude site owner. Now I'm a site member, and now this site member cannot download all content in all these SharePoint sites. Last, but it's also another important feature is the site lifecycle management for an active site. Now it's possible to introduce one policy to, for example, to delete or in the near future archive using the new M365 backup and archive all your older content. For example, I can start to create a new policy. Okay, I can select the inactive time, 3 months, 6 months. I can specify the type of site. I can create one policy, for example, for team site, one policy for communication site, etc. And then I can have a report about my old sites, or in the near future, as I mentioned before, I can create an archive policy. Obviously, this policy send a warning email to all site owner that the content is too old and will be archived in few time. I think that is another important feature to manage content and reduce the storage consumption, because storage consumption today is a big problem for all customers. Okay, Fabio, I think that we have finished. Then
yeah,
we are here for
yes,
question and answer.
Fantastic session, guys. Absolutely brilliant. Love that stuff at the end, Marco. Okay, we do have a few questions that popped up. I know you answered the last one, Marco, but we've got one up here. Is the new announcement feature in connections going to be a premium feature?
It's necessary to my colleague Matteo Lenzo. Thanks, Matteo, for joining this session. In background, already replied. It's necessary to have a Viva Suite or a Viva Communication and Community license to use announcement feature.
I can see that now. I look down because somebody else clarified. Thank you so much for that. And again, you've managed to answer those questions while we were going through the session, which is great because we've kind of overgone time a little bit, but that's fine. I think the stuff that you're talking about there is absolutely essential, and it's stuff that we've all been working around in SharePoint for such long times. It's great to see them coming along as actually included features. So fantastic session. Well done.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks.
If anybody's got any question for these guys, and please do give us some feedback. We keep showing you the feedback link, but I can pop it in the chat again. Do let us know what you like about sessions, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of, and we can then get that back to the speakers and they can add in some more goodies if that's what we're looking for. But I think that was a really informative session. Thank you so much to you both. Thank you. And I guess it's time for a quick break before the next session, which is also going to be about performance. So we're going to be looking at cloud flows in Power Automate and improving the performance of those. So I'll hand over to Luke, who's here to take over for moderation for me. Luke, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Perfect. And we will say goodbye to Marco and Fabio. Thanks very much for joining us, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
And we'll get